The market is crashing. It's crazy to see all this red. The S&P 500 is down almost 5%. The Nasdaq's down almost 6%. The Dow Jones was hitting about 1,600 points down. Oh no! What is going on? What's happening? What should we do? All this negative news, he just may think the world is ending. It's time to die. You might as well pray to Jesus that you've been going to church every single Sunday. Well, I'm telling you here, the world is not ending. This is just news. News that's just flooding your social media, flooding your accounts, flooding the TVs. And it's not a time to panic. It's a time to get your head straight. Kind of think about what's going on, what's happening, what should we do? And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what a tariff is, because Donald Trump has dropped the tariff bomb and it's kind of freaked out the world. We're going to talk about what's happening and so what this all means, and then we're going to come up with a couple of tips to kind of help straighten the ship and make sure you're floating on and you are kind of being back to that sanity where things are just not crashing and burning. All right, let's get down to it. Hey guys, my name is Steve, and in this video, I'm going to talk about just kind of a little bit what's going on in these market jitters. All right, let's get to it. So, what is a tariff? A tariff is a tax imposed by one country on the goods and services imported from another country to influence it, raise revenues, or protect competitive advantages. So to get down to it, a tariff is a tax that is on imports. So anything that's coming into the country from another country that has a tariff on it is getting taxed. This is like customs. When you come through customs and you're flying from internationally, they will ask you if you have anything you want to declare because you may have to pay a tax on it. That's what a tariff is. It's a tax. That's easy. Taxes have gone up. When we usually like taxes to go down. Now, let me go over a couple pros and cons to kind of help you guys out just and explain it just a little bit more. So, a couple pros. It protects local industries in the short term. It generates government revenue, and it could be trade leverage. So that means those local industries, like maybe things that are made in America, are protected from maybe outside influence. Those people that are flooding the market with cheaper goods like Temu. Yeah, everybody likes to buy Temu because it's cheap and you can get it pretty quickly. Other things is it creates revenue. Well, the government is in a huge deficit. We know this. It's about $36 trillion. And so they need revenue. Another reason is maybe they want to use it as leverage. They want to create a trade deal in order to have better trade and fair relationships with other countries. That is a good way to use tariffs. Now, let's look at some of the cons. Cons: higher consumer prices. So, prices will go up. This risks retaliatory measures. Other countries could put tariffs onto your goods. Strain trade relations. Now, maybe other countries don't trust you as much because maybe you had a trade agreement that you created and now you kind of bailed on it and want something else. So you got a little bit greedy. You wanted more. And you've already agreed to more maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, in 2019, we had a new trade agreement with Canada and Mexico that Donald Trump's first administration created this trade agreement. Now they want a different one. So that's something that could happen. So, what does this mean to you? And how does this affect you? Well, first of all, let's talk about the higher consumer prices. Now, let's say I am a wine producer and I have created a $10 bottle of wine that I want to sell in the USA. Now, if it comes in without any tariffs, I could sell it for maybe, let's say, $19. And now I've got a good margin right there. I'm selling it for $19. It's getting produced for $10. And so I've got a margin of about $9. That's great. I'm making money. You guys are getting some good wine, and it's perfectly hunky-dory, right? Well, let's say the U.S. decides to tariff the country that's producing the wine. Now it's a 10% tariff, which adds $1, 10%, onto my cost. Now it costs me $11, And I could eat that, sell it for $19. My margin has now gone down to $8, and we can continue to go. Or I could, if I wanted to, keep the same margin. So I raised the price to $20. And now we have wine that's not $19, but it costs $20. That's how prices can go up. And inflation could rise just a bit, about 10% on wine itself. Now that's just an example. And that's how tariffs work. Now, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm just kind of explaining fact by fact how tariffs work. And if you don't understand that, well, you may have to do a little bit more research. All right. Now, what is happening in the world today? Well, yesterday was called Liberation Day. And that means that Donald Trump decided to blanket tariffs all across the world. And not everyone got equal treatment. Some countries got 10% tariffs. Some islands that don't have anyone living on them got 10% tariffs. Some countries like Taiwan and China and other places got anywhere between 20 to 30 to 40% tariffs. And that is what happened yesterday. Now, this was not something that was created in trade agreements. This was just like a blanket, hey, I'm going to hit you guys all with tariffs. And either you're going to trade with me and make it fair, or we're going to pay the consequences. And so that's what's going to happen right now. Like I said, if we look at this chart, this is the chart of the tariffs. We can see, China's got an extra 34% on top of the 20%. So everything now costs 54% coming out of China. We now have Taiwan's got 32%, and the Taiwanese have already said, our trade deficit is going back to the first Trump administration when they started the trade war with China. All the U.S. companies moved to Taiwan instead of staying in China. And that's what Trump wanted. He wanted countries to get out of China and go to like Indonesia and other countries. And so that's why some of these countries have higher tariffs. So what does this all mean? Well, right now, everybody's freaking out because, they weren't really kind of bought into that. I mean, they didn't know this thing was going to happen. They didn't know. And so people freak out. Countries freak out. Countries are now kind of ganging up together and kind of taking money out of the U.S. And it's just a whole bunch of chaos and turmoil. And it wasn't probably thought out as the best. And the strategy just didn't seem like a effective strategy. When you're working with businesses, you want to negotiate and you want to be a win-win. Where I win, you win, we're all both happy, we walk away. And it's a great way to create some good relations. Now, right now, these relations are getting a little strained, and so then some diplomatic kind of negotiation should go on and happen, and hopefully it does, but we don't know because this is brand new, and this is freaking people out. So what should you do? First of all, you should not sell. I said it. Do not sell because that's going to be one of the worst mistakes you could make. You want to buy and hold. I have talked about this before and I continue to talk about it. You should buy and hold and continue to hold for the future. We are not traders. We are not timing the market because if you time the market, you will lose. Now, I'll show you guys a little bit how this happens. If you had sold and missed out on 10 of the best days in the market in the last 20 years, you would have missed out on $35,136. For people like me that just buy and hold, if I would have invested $10,000 20 years ago, my money would have came out to a little bit over $70,000, $65,000 if it was between 2003 and 2022. So that means markets will go down, but there will be big days that you could miss. So don't sell, just buy and hold. And think about this. A lot of markets have gone down in the past. The dot-com crash in 2001, the NASDAQ went down 78%. That's crazy to think about. But if you would have bought and hold an ETF like QQQ, you would have seen it. It is one of the best performing ETFs in the last 25 years. How crazy is that? The S&P 500 dropped 51% in the 2008 to 2009 crash right there. Warren Buffett made a bet with a hedge fund manager that an S&P 500 ETF or index fund would beat the hedge fund in a 10-year period. He won. He won. In that 10-year period, the S&P 500 averaged about 7.1%, while the hedge fund manager averaged only 2.2%. Think about that. If you miss out on those best days, you will miss out on a lot of money. So do not sell. Continue to hold for long term. Number 2, it is time to dollar cost average. Prices are going to be going up and down, so make a way to maybe automate things, or just continue just to buy every week, every month, every day. The way you do it, just to continue to buy and see what happens. Buy and hold. Like I said, this is dollar cost averaging. The market may drop today 5%. It may go up 3% tomorrow. So if you would have bought maybe today, it would have been better. But if you just continue to buy and hold and you zoom out, you will see the market has gone up over the long term. So continue to buy and hold a dollar cost average. Number 3, it is time to take a look at some of the markets that are doing poorly. Now, if you are like me, and you look at your portfolio and you see, oh, my international funds are doing really well. Should I invest in those? You probably should have invested last year in those when probably the internationals were not doing so good. Right now, the internationals are doing much better. The value funds are doing much better. But if you look at the market, the S&P 500 is down, the Nasdaq's down. Like if you have ETFs like VGT is down almost 17 to 18% year to date. SEHG is down. SEHG is down, like I said. QQQ is down. Start investing in those growth. Right now, those are down way more, so it's a big sale. It's like Black Friday. When you go on Black Friday, you don't go for the ones that have gone up 10%. You go for the ones that are down 15, 20%, right? Right? Yeah, that's how you do it. So look at those markets. Look at something that you may have been studying and now it's on sale. It's time to buy some of those. Buy and hold. And number 4, stay calm. Don't panic. These times do happen. Like I said, there have been crashes throughout the years. And what the news does is they say the world is ending and it's time to get out and freak out. No, it's time to stay chill, calm down, go to work, make your money, continue to save, continue to invest. Do not change your habits. Do not go out and buy that fancy car because you think tomorrow's going to be the end of the world and you only have one chance to do that. Do not do that. Stay calm, be patient, and continue, like I said, to buy and hold. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I created a video on the crashes coming. There's 3 ETFs you should buy. If you want to check out that video, check it out here. And remember, buy and hold for the long term and do not freak out. It's going to be okay. And I am here for any questions. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Because it's fun to read and it's fun to interact. All right, I'll catch you guys later. See ya.